my beautiful people. Buenos dias, buenas tardes, buenas noches, buenos dias, buenas tardes, buenas noches, buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are. As y'all can tell, I clearly forgot it's podcast Monday. And Delon already made it home and I'm recording the podcast now. It's 3:28 in the afternoon because I got sidetracked and got caught up in everything else I'm trying to get done for my business. I literally was like, oh, today podcast Monday. Okay, I'll do my podcast. Then it was like this happened and then that happened and then I had my coaching session and then I had a friend call to ask for a favor and then it was so I'm here. I'm late, but I'm present. I'm here. Where are you? So how's it going, y'all? What y'all been up to? What have y'all been up to? Tell me, fill me in. What is the tea? I wants to know what is up. Alright, but all BS aside, because I already know you guys are not going to tell me what's up. So, I am on here. And I want to give you guys some parenting tips. I decided that I was going to... Give me 1 second. I thought I messed up. I don't know what I thought I was doing. But I decided I'm going to be productive with my time when I'm with you guys. Besides my venting and my dumping and updating and just life in general. I do want to start giving value, as much value as I possibly can when I come on here. That is my goal. Maybe probably I do 2 podcasts with you guys Mondays and Wednesdays. Then maybe I can do Motivational Monday and then Wednesday can be about catching up, whatever the case may be. I'm still working out my plans on how I want to do this. So all I ask is for utter complete patience from you guys, please, while I am revamping myself and getting to know this new me and how I'm showing up and how I'm going to be productive. I am asking for all the patience in the world from you guys because I have a big vision. And the vision isn't just helping parents with mental illness and figuring out how to show up and how to understand yourself. It's also just providing support, providing as much support as possible because me being a single mom and doing all this on my own and then being in a wheelchair, it's a lot. It's a lot for myself and it's a lot for my children as well. It's just a lot for all of us. So I know that it's not an easy task or it's not an easy road, and I'm very limited on the support that I have. Very limited.
Thank you.
And I know that I want to be for others what I wish I could have, or what I can't find. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about 4 parenting tips. So I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram or not. Not 100% sure, but on Instagram I am called Parenting with Mental Illness. That is also my coaching page. I do it all on just one Instagram because I have a personal Instagram, my coaching / parenting mental illness Instagram, and then my Shop Normies, which is our store that we have online. I have that Instagram as well. So it's already 3 pages that I have to oversee, manage, and I do this all on my own. My daughter's supposed to be helping me with it, but life happens and I need her in other areas, so it just makes it, a lot harder for her to do, and I'm not trying to complicate her life. I already feel like I complicate it enough with me being in a wheelchair, so, try to do what I can to lighten her load. But I have 4 parenting tips for you guys today, okay? And I wanted to go over these 4 parenting tips. Now, I want to start throwing tips out there, suggestions or ideas. If you guys have any parenting tips that you want to send in, I don't mind, reading them out there, or I mean, putting them on the podcast or whatever. We should be able to help each other, okay? So if you know that you have some tips that work good for you, that you've heard from other people or you've seen, or things that you've tried that works for you, why don't you shoot me over an email, Linette, Linette, at coachingwithlynetteH.com. Shoot me over an email and put in those tips so I can share them with everybody else. We all can use as much support as we can actually get. So let's be that for each other. Like, I don't see why we can't. So with that being said, let me get to my 4 parenting tips. Oh, sorry. I keep doing this. For those of you who are listening for the first time, my apologies for just jumping in, and for all of you who are watching for the first time, my apologies for just jumping in. This is something that I have to get myself accustomed to. I'm not your typical YouTube channel, and I'm not your typical podcast. I don't like repeating things. Repetitive things bother me, actually. Even though I do have OCD, so it makes no sense. But repetitive things do bother me, so I kind of don't have a intro. Like, the little bit that I do when I do come on is enough, and sometimes it overwhelms me a little bit, or it irritates me. So my name is Linette, and I am a life coach for parents. But before I became a life coach for parents, I'm a mental health advocate. And that's where the platform Parenting with Mental Illness came from. I am a single mom who has mental illness. I'm also raising 2 high-functioning autistic adolescents who also have mental illness, and a typical 4-year-old who you hear in the background. And then for those who don't know also, because obviously you're new, my family and I got hit really hard with COVID. It just took us off our feet and knocked us down really bad. And then I started getting sick, and then I ended up in the wheelchair. And it's been just a struggle and a struggle and a struggle and a struggle. And I created the platforms because I was in a point in my life where I didn't see the point of me being on this earth anymore. And I was going to take myself out. And I was going to leave my kids motherless, pretty much. So I talked to my oldest daughter. We had a deep conversation. I promised her I would attempt to do everything that I could to stay my behind on this earth. And I decided that I needed to hold myself accountable. So how can I hold myself accountable? Let's see. I need support, but I can't find support. I can't find people in a similar situation like mine. Every time I try to get advice from my regular friends or, my one cousin, the advice doesn't always fit because it's not to my household or my household's needs. So I decided to become my own support system. So everything that you see me post, everything that you see me talk about, everything that you see me mention are things that I wish I could have found during my time of need, but I can't find it, so let me be it for somebody else. And then I also want to use my life as a motivator for those who feel like they're at the end of their ropes. If I can live in one room, because we live in an extended stay, if I can live in one room with my kids, run 2 businesses, what? So so then the way you did it made it seem like you were trying to get my attention instead of just saying hi. That was so funny. You really made me think. Well, unless you're going to watch something on it. Alright, well then go ahead. I'm not charging. Oh, I wasn't supposed to be charging.
I told you, it looks like you were charging.
Sorry, you guys. Again, we do live in one room. I have 3 kids. And we make it work as best as we can. So sometimes I'll get sidetracked with what they're doing. Or sometimes you'll hear them in the background. Or sometimes they'll just interrupt me for no reason. Hold on one second, you guys. So you interrupt me when I told you I was recording to tell me that you're hungry when the person who needs to give you something to eat is Biba. So you could have asked Biba. things like that happen. Things like that. This is why sometimes for me to record content is a little difficult, because I don't know how you guys feel on your end. I don't know if the interruptions bother y'all. I don't know if the interruptions get to you guys, but this is my life. And I have to do what I want to do to attempt to get my clients so that I can get my family on a stable place and we can have our own apartment or our own house to rent. So I am making it work. That's another reason why I try to use my life as a motivator. So if anybody feels like there's no other avenue, there's no way of doing it, I live in a trigger every single day. And I'm making it work. If I can make it work on my own with no support system, and I'm really struggling to get this business up and running and showing my beautiful face out there and getting my name known and finding my ideal clients, then you guys can do the same for whatever it is that you're attempting to do. There's really no ifs, ands, about it. If I can live with mental illness and deal with my conditions, and even during my episodes and stuff like that, I'm still working. I'm still have my 2 clients I'm working with that I have to be there for every single time they need me. Like, I'm still there. I show up. I don't let this dictate how I live. Why you hit my baby?
Because you almost flicked this off the plate onto the floor.
Well, you got some
Because you flicked it.
Sorry, you guys. I'm about to get the hiccups. Can I get some to drink?
Yep.
So that's who I am. That's what I do. And you can find episodes on here where I'm falling apart. Okay, and I'm like at the end of my ropes, and you can tell that my mind is exiting, but I'm still holding myself there. Personally, I feel there's been a lot of growth within myself and how I show up. Ever since I started the life coach journey, I became certified in June, and it's just been a blessing. It really has, because I found something I'm passionate about. Bless you. I'm passionate about, and it can help me get my family where we need to be, in our own place. Not living in one room, but everybody having space, and I can actually move around in my wheelchair and do things and not just be stuck or confined to a certain place. But that's enough of my background. It took longer than I intended to. My apologies. So let's get to it. The 4 parenting tips. My first parenting tip, okay, is check in mentally. All right? That's my first parenting tip. And you say, check in mentally, Linette. What does that mean? Like, what are you talking about? So, all right. By checking in with yourself, you can avoid any yelling or hot-headedness that can creep in while parenting. If you find yourself in an agitated state, then regroup before parenting. There's nothing wrong taking time to process before you parent. All right? Now, checking in. I'm going to show you an example. Let's say you were at work, you had a hard day. Maybe I should come up with an actual job. All right, so let's say you're a teacher. You had a hard day, your students were difficult, their behavior was all over the place. You just want to get home, and you just want to take a few minutes to unwind, get yourself together before you start doing the parenting thing. But of course that cannot happen, because as a parent, your kids are ready for you 365 days out of the year, 24/7, okay? Unless they sleep, and even then, they still looking for you too. So you don't have the opportunity to do so. So you get home, and you're like, you're okay, but you're still having the stresses of the day on your shoulders, because you didn't de-escalate before you make it home. You didn't get to process your day so that you can go home with a clean slate and then be able to process your next role, which is being a parent. So you get home, then you find out that Jolly, did you hear me, man? Jolly. I meant to say Sally, even though I don't know who gonna name your child Sally nowadays, but Sally, right, pushed Tommy and made Tommy get a black and blue mark, right? So you get home to find out that Sally done pushed Tommy. Tommy all, Mommy, she done did this to me, and Mommy, she done did that to me, or Daddy, he done did this, she done did this to me, Daddy, she done did that to me, over here crying, boo-hooing, acting like it's the end of the world, And all you really wanted to do was just come through that door, put everything down, and de-escalate for a second. But now you got this parenting issue popping up, right? You want to handle it and get it out of your way so you can go do what your original plan was. But then what are you doing? You're going to handle that parenting situation while you're not in a good state of mind, while you're not in a good state of in a good emotional state as well. So you may even take out some aggression on your kids because you have aggression from your students, right? You may not have the same sweet patience that you have with your students earlier. You may do a little voice raising instead of just talking and parenting. So instead of putting yourself in any situation like that, check in mentally. How am I feeling? Am I stressed? Am I overwhelmed? Am I anxious? Am I frustrated? Am I mad? Is this the right time to handle this situation, or do I need to regroup, process what I need to process, get myself, my emotions, and everything together, and then come back and handle this parenting thing? So I am telling you, check in emotionally before you parent, all right? It's very important that we take prime opportunity in these parenting moments to actually teach our kids right from wrong. But we don't need to talk down to them to do so. We don't need to yell at them to do so. We can do so in a calm, cool, collective way, just like I'm talking to you guys right now. You'll get more out of it than you will out of yelling. All you're going to do is get more mad and more angry and more agitated. Your blood pressure going to go up. You're going to take years away from your life because you over here so worked up. All right, my parenting tip number 2. Do more talking, less yelling. All right? Yelling in through one ear, out through the other. Sit here and ask yourself. Think back to when you were a child and ask yourself, do you remember what half of the yelling that your parents did was about? Do you remember why half of the time you're behind and got yelled at, what it was for, or why, what you did, or anything like that? Like, all I remember is getting yelled at. I remember constantly getting yelled at. I remember sometimes getting yelled at for things that wasn't my fault, and I can tell some stories on that. But I constantly remember, ooh, I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Do it now, Linette, before somebody calls. But I do, constantly remember that I was being yelled at all the time. Did I learn anything out of that yelling? No, because I couldn't understand half of it because she was yelling at me and I tune her out. Because I don't like being yelled at. I don't like having people over here, yelling at me. So I forgot. Hold on. The whole tip is do more talking, less yelling, or emotions. I forgot about the emotion piece. I added that at the last minute. It was normally just do less yelling. But I added the emotions piece because sometimes our emotions is what triggers the yelling. And it's imperative that our emotions are in check. Like, we be asking our kids to stop crying, be telling them to stop yelling, be telling them to stop screaming. Those are all emotions. Those are all emotions that they're showing. So you have to make sure that your emotions are in check when you go and parent. And then this way, you're level-headed throughout the whole entire process. All right, so this tip can be a hard one for most parents. We need to keep our tone leveled along with our cool heads. Too many emotions on the plate can cause miscommunication. Your kids can actually think that it's about to be the end of the world, they're about to die, ain't no more playing games, ain't no more this, ain't no more that. But in reality, you just agitated at something else, but because the way that you come in to approach them, they may think, oh my God, like this is it. I'm 6 feet under in the next few seconds. You could literally be ready to talk and they're going to sit there and probably even come up with a lie, an excuse or something because they thinking the situation is worse than what it is because of how your demeanor is showing up. Alright, so, and then not just that, like, you don't like to be yelled at. Let's be honest. As human beings, we do not like to be yelled at. We find that as a form of threat. Why would you want to be a threat to your child? Threatening your child that you're going to beat their ass, knock them out, put them on timeout, take their toy, that's all a different story. Why would you want your child to take you as a threat to them? You don't want that, and yelling is a form of threat. You want your child to know that no matter what happens in life, they can always come to you because you always going to be there for them. Instead of them being out there doing dumb stuff. Some of the stuff that these kids be doing nowadays, or some of these videos that be out here about missing kids or hurting kids or runaway kids, it can all be avoided. It can all be avoided. Communication is key. Keep your emotions in check. Keep your tone at a level. Don't be up there yelling and raising it and screaming or calling kids out their names or, you know what I'm saying, being harsh or messed up or anything like that. It's not going to get you nowhere. It's not going to get you nowhere, and it definitely ain't going to give a lesson to your child. Your child's still going to be just as confused as they was before. Alright. Parenting tip number 3. Talk it out with your child to get to the bottom of the behavior. Let me say that one more time. Talk it out with your child to get to the bottom of the behavior. Alright? Some of these behaviors are for a reason. Sometimes our kids are acting out or they're screaming and they're asking for help through their behavior. So if it's a new behavior that's going on, that's been recent, and you sitting up here like, didn't I tell you like 5 times already not to do this? Didn't I tell you like 5 times already? Alright, so you told him 5 times already. That was 2 times too many. In my book, that was 2 times too many. I got 3 times to tell you, and that's it. After that, I'm going to get to the bottom of what's going on. Because you ain't doing this repetitive behavior for no reason. The first time I take it like, alright, you didn't know, I school you. The second time, you probably thought I was playing, I was joking, I wasn't serious, or you forgot, because my kids do have autism. And there's selective behavior things going on with their mental health as well. They have ADHD, also bipolar, a couple of other stuff. So in my situation, I got to take that into consideration when I'm parenting. So because that's the technique I use with them, I use it with my 4-year-old as well. She still gets 3 times, and that's it too. Sometimes I feel like she just uses it to use them. Other times I feel like it took those 3 times to actually get her to understand my point of view and what I was trying to say, and then the behavior is corrected. Now, there's things that I've noticed that if it's over the 3 times, if 3 times already went by and I'm having to do it a 4th time, oh no, we need to get to the bottom of what's going on in this behavior. You know, there's a reason why you acting out. There's a reason why you're doing what you're doing. So now it's my job as mom to be an investigator and find out what's going on. Not just sit here and keep giving you punishments or timeout or taking things away or getting frustrated and overwhelmed and stressed out to the point that I'm going to start yelling and screaming and we're not going to get nowhere. So I'm going to get to the bottom of the behavior. We're going to sit down and we have a long conversation. And we're going to find out what is actually going on. So don't just deal with the current situation and see why your child is doing that type of behavior. Solve the root of the issue. Listen to them. And then, I mean, my opinion, parenting, when I'm parenting and I have those opportunities to redirect, regroup, or whatever, I feel like I get to know my kids a lot more through these scenarios because I really sit down and talk to them and I be asking you what was running through your mind. Like, can you fill me in on what you was actually thinking when you did this, or what was your train of thought? Because if it's something that they misunderstood, don't understand so well, or could have been avoided because they didn't understand something else, I'm going to try to get to the bottom of what it is, clear it all up so we don't have to deal with this behavior again. And I'll be honest with you, the only person that I have to deal with behavior issues repetitively is Delano. Delano has ODD, oppositional defiance disorder. So you want him to sit, his ass gonna want to stand. You want him to stop being on his phone, his ass is gonna want to watch TV. You want him to clean, his ass, it's always gonna be the opposite of whatever you want. It's oppositional defiance disorder. So to get him to do things, to cooperate, we have to find ways to make it work. And it's frustrating and it's annoying, but I know because of this condition, I have to deal with these type of behaviors. But because I've learned my son and I pay close attention, I can sometimes pinpoint what type of situation it could be. Like, all right, it's the autistic piece that doesn't understand it. Or, all right, it was the ODD that played a part in why we still having that problem. You know, I try to really get to the root of it so then I can know how to deal with it moving forward, or any situation like that with them same scenarios moving forward. All right, let's get to tip number 4. Make sure you're not only listening, but hearing your child. The majority of the time, our children feel misunderstood or not heard. You can parent in a positive, productive way when listening. There's so much you can learn about your child when you listen. Actually, hear them out. Let them express their feelings, their emotions, and their thoughts to you. And then guess what? There could have been a miscommunication in how they were thinking or processing things, and you can clarify it for them. But how is that going to work if you're not taking the time to sit there and actually listen and talk? These are the prime times to really be vulnerable with your children. Hey, yo, when I was your age, I made that same mistake. And I learned the same lesson. And school your children. School them. Don't do it as more than building that relationship and that bond and getting to understand them a lot better. But listen to them, and don't just listen to them when you're parenting, honestly. Listen to them even when they're playing with their siblings or playing on their own. Or really listen to their play when they're trying to play with you. Sorry, I'm about to get a cramp in my back and I'm trying to avoid it. Biba, I need a cramp pill. Listen to their to even when they're playing with you, when they include you in their play, pay close attention to their words. You will learn so much, and you will see how they see the world and how they perceive things. There may be a little miscommunication in that perception. You know what I'm saying? You may just have to clarify a couple of things for them, or they may be getting bad behavior. I'm recording. It's hidden. Why? Look. She thinks I'm crazy. See, it's right there. Now do you see the camera? It's right there. Why do you think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Because of Delano?
Hi.
I'm recording. It's right there. You really thought I was talking to myself? You thought? Oh, but you were wondering why I was looking over here. You know, when I do the podcast, I usually do the video, but I also had to read my tips because I didn't remember. I did another set of tips, and those are 8 tips, and those are the tips that are fresh in my mind, not the 4-tip one. So I had to pull up my 4-tip and make sure I get my correct information.
Hi. That's me, the little one.
Do you see this? See this child? Sorry, podcasters, y'all can't see her. But she always trying to be in somebody's camera, man. But those are my 4 tips that I have for you guys today. I would love to seriously get more tips from you guys. What works for you with your kids? What works for you when you're parenting? What works for you, honestly, when you're mad and you have to parent? What do you do? Because, you can't, you can take your aggression out on your kids and think you're not doing it, but I'm just wondering, what do you do? I know what I do. I shut up. I literally go, stay calm on that. Just shut up on that. Don't say nothing. Just shut up on that. Don't say nothing. Just go outside, smoke a cigarette. Go outside, smoke a blunt. Don't say nothing on that. Just shut up. I literally talk to myself like that to remind myself this is not the correct time, the appropriate time, or the right time. And because my kids know that these are things that I'm doing to incorporate better parenting and being a better parent, because I feel like I'm not, even though they disagree with me, but I feel like I'm not. They know that when I do that is because I'm trying to stay calm, cool, and collective, and I don't want to inappropriately say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing or hurt anybody's feelings, because my bipolar can kick in when I least expect it, and then there's a wrath coming through. Even though I don't want it to be a wrath, but there'll be a wrath, I can't control it. So to avoid putting myself in those situations, that's another reason why I check in. I check in on my mental state. I'll check in where my mental health is at. Is my mental health really in a good position to be parenting right now? Or do I need to take some time and regroup? But those are the 4 tips that I have for you guys today. On Wednesday, I guess we can do a catch-up video. A catch-up podcast and just talk about what's going on and what we have coming up and things like that. Ooh, before I forget, I do have another workshop December 1st. This one you don't have to register for. You can just show up. The link. Ooh, I gotta fix the link in my bio. I gotta fix the link in my bio, but it'll be in my bio if you guys want to show up. It'll also be on the website as well, on my website, coachingwithlinette.com, so you don't have to register for it if you don't want to. Sorry for the lighting, you guys, but I don't really have a work area in this room, so I have to make it work whichever way I can, and I forgot the window is right there. But yeah, I do have a workshop coming up December 1st, informational workshop, get to know me, some parenting tips. I have a course on sale now for Black Friday called What is Your Truth? Originally, I'm selling it for $65, but right now it's on sale for $35. It comes with journal pages, either PDF or digital. I'm also calling you guys out. Book a call with me. Let's sit down and have a chit chat. Let's see how I can support you. Let's see how I can cheer for you. Let's see how I can help you. What areas in your life could you use my assistance? Book that free call. No money given up, and I will help you. I will give you my knowledge and my experience. All right, you guys? So it was definitely a blessing to be talking to you guys today, and I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your day. And I catch you guys on the next podcast. All right? And if you liked my tips, let me know. If you want more, let me know. I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to provide good information that you guys can use while still doing my platforms how I would do them anyways, but I have knowledge. I have lots of knowledge, and I would love to be able to share it out into the world. All right, y'all, be blessed.